Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be born into Dubai's world of unimaginable wealth? Imagine having a sneaker collection worth $1 million at just 15 years old, or owning a private jet before you are even legally allowed to drive. For the richest kids in Dubai, all of that is just everyday life. In this video, we are going to look at some incredibly wealthy young members of elite and royal families and see what they spend their fortunes on. Rashid Belhassa. Let's start with Rashid Belhassa, also known as Money Kicks. This guy lives large thanks to his father's massive construction empire, Saif Belhassa Holding. We are talking about more than 50 companies and 10,000 employees. But Rashid is not just sitting around living off his father's money. He has already made a name for himself as a social media star. First, let's talk about his impressive sneaker collection. This 15-year-old shoe collection is worth more than $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1 million just sitting on his shelves. And we are not talking about ordinary Nikes. Rashid owns Michael Jordan signed 2004 Air Jordan 13s, as well as Nike Air Yeezy 2 Red Octobers, which cost around $15,000 a pair. That is more expensive than some cars. But sneakers are only the beginning. Rashid is completely at home on social media. He has 2 million followers on Instagram and more than 3 million subscribers on YouTube. His content is mostly videos of him living the high life and spending time with celebrities. Casual, right? Most wealthy kids might have a dog or a cat, maybe even a horse if the family is especially extravagant. But Rashid has an entire private zoo. We are talking about more than 500 exotic animals, lions, tigers, giraffes, and many others. And these are not just random animals. Rashid rescued many of them from difficult conditions. Some of them even have designer names. For example, he has a lion named Valentino and orangutans named Gucci and Dior. The zoo is closed to the public, but that does not mean nobody visits. Celebrities such as Mariah Carey and Floyd Mayweather have already been there. Imagine this. One minute you are standing next to a giraffe, and the next you are standing next to a world-famous boxer. For Rashid, that is just a normal Tuesday. You might be thinking that maintaining a private zoo must cost a fortune, and you would be right. Ordinary zoos can cost millions just to build, and feeding all those animals alone can cost hundreds of thousands every year. But for Rashid, that is almost pocket change. When it comes to cars, Rashid does not choose anything ordinary. He has a Ferrari F12 Berlinetta, but even that was not enough, so he had it wrapped in a Louis Vuitton and Supreme-inspired design. And yes, do not forget that he received it for his birthday. He also has a Cadillac Escalade with a Yeezy-style wrap, because why not? But the most unusual thing in Rashid's collection might not even be a car or an animal. It is a bottle of perfume, and not just any perfume. We are talking about Shumuk, the most expensive perfume in the world. It cost almost $1.3 million and holds a Guinness World Records title for the number of diamonds on a perfume bottle. Imagine spending more on a fragrance than most people spend on a house. Marwan bin Mohammed Al Maktoum. Next up is Marwan bin Mohammed Al Maktoum. He is only 23 years old and his net worth is already $1 billion. Yes, you heard that right. $1 billion is a seriously large amount of money. But Marwan is not just enjoying his fortune. He serves as deputy chairman of Emaar Properties, one of the largest real estate development companies in the UAE. Heard of the Burj Khalifa? That is Emaar. Dubai Mall? Also Emaar. This company is literally reshaping Dubai's skyline, and Marwan is right in the middle of that world. But this is where it gets even more interesting. He is not planning to limit himself to one business. He also co-founded Sherfa Capital, a financial institution where he owns a quarter of the company. Now that is real diversification. Now let's talk about his toys. Marwan has the kind of car collection that would make most people's jaws drop. We are talking about luxury cars worth more than $10 million. He owns several Lamborghinis because why stop at one? And of course he has a Bugatti. But the crown jewel may be his Rolls-Royce Phantom drophead coupe. That car alone costs more than $500,000. But cars are only the beginning. Marwan's home is a whole different story. He owns a waterfront villa worth almost $7 million with 7 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, 2 pools, and 3 fountains. It looks like a private mini resort, and it is only one of his properties. You might be thinking, fine, but how does that compare to Rashid's zoo? While Richest is caring for lions and tigers, Marwan is literally helping shape Dubai's future. The projects he is involved in with Emaar are changing the look of the city. We are talking about skyscrapers, luxury hotels, and entire neighborhoods. And here's the main point. He is doing all of this at 23. Most people at that age are still trying to figure out what to do with their lives, while he is already sitting at the same table as some of the most influential business leaders in the Middle East. But do not think Marwan is all work and no play. When he is not in board meetings or overseeing construction projects, you can easily imagine him driving one of his supercars or relaxing at his multi-million-dollar villa. And here's what makes it even more impressive. He is nowhere near the richest person on this list. His $1 billion fortune is small compared with some of the other young royals we will talk about later. So what is next for Marwan? With his business instincts and the resources he has, there are almost no limits. He could become the person who turns Dubai into the next major technology hub, or he could focus on sustainable development and make Dubai a model for eco-friendly cities of the future. But one thing is certain, whatever he decides to do, it will be big and expensive. Very, very expensive. Saeed bin Bouti Al Maktoum. Saeed bin Bouti Al Maktoum has a solid $2 billion, and even that does not make him the richest young person on our list. Saeed is not just another wealthy guy. He is the son of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, the most powerful figure in Dubai. But Saeed is not sitting around waiting for an inheritance. He is actively building his own future. He is the deputy chairman and managing director of Abdul Latif Jameel Holding. You might be thinking, what is that? Well, it is only one of the largest companies in the Middle East. The company operates in many different industries, from automobiles to real estate and energy. Put simply, if an industry makes money, there is a good chance this company is involved in it too. But let's talk about what really makes Saeed stand out: his watch collection. The watches this guy wears are on a completely different level. We are not talking about some ordinary Rolex. Saeed owns limited edition models from Cartier and Hublot that would leave people speechless. Imagine spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a single watch. For most people, that sounds insane. For Saeed, it is just another Tuesday. He owns watches that cost more than some people's homes. One of his favorites is the Cartier Santos Dumont XL. And this is not some old-fashioned Cartier. It is a limited edition model with a platinum case and a manual movement. Only 100 pieces were made, and one of them sits in Saeed's collection as if that were completely normal. But Cartier is only the beginning. Saeed also has a special love for Hublot. He has been seen wearing the Hublot Big Bang Unico King Gold Blue. This watch is literally a work of art on the wrist. It is made of 18-karat gold and has a transparent dial that lets you watch all the tiny parts of the mechanism in motion. The price? More than $40,000. You might be thinking, fine, the watches are beautiful, but what else does this guy do? And this is where it gets really interesting. When Saeed is not running a multi-billion-dollar company or adding to his watch collection, he lives an extremely luxurious life. We are talking about trips most people can only dream of. Saeed does not just go on vacation, he goes on real adventures. Private islands? Yes. Luxury resorts where one night costs more than some people earn in a month? Also yes. Imagine waking up on a secluded beach while your personal butler is already waiting to fulfill your every wish. For Saeed, that is a normal morning. It is even said that he can rent out entire resorts just for himself and his friends, because why share paradise with strangers when you can have the whole place to yourself? But here's what really matters about Saeed. Despite all this luxury, he is not just trying to show off. For a billionaire, he is fairly low-key. You will not see him flaunting his wealth on social media the way some other rich kids do. Instead, he seems genuinely focused on business and on building his own legacy. He is not satisfied with being known only as the son of a sheikh. He wants to make a name for himself in the business world, and to be fair, he is doing pretty well. Under his leadership, Abdul Latif Jameel Holding has entered new markets and new industries. They are no longer just selling cars. They are investing in advanced technologies and sustainable energy solutions. Saeed is looking toward the future. He is thinking not only about his next watch purchase or his next vacation spot. He is thinking about how to shape the future of Dubai and the entire Middle East. But do not think Saeed is only about work. When he is not in the boardroom, he can be seen driving around Dubai in one of his luxury cars or flying off to an exotic destination for the weekend. Hamdan bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Hamdan bin Rashid Al Maktoum is not just some spoiled trust fund heir. His net worth is $19.1 billion. Yes, billions with a capital B. He is also firmly listed among the billionaires on Forbes. But here's the main thing. He did not simply inherit all that money. Hamdan is actively building his own future. He runs the family construction company, and we are not talking about a small business. This company generates around $7 billion in annual revenue. That is more revenue than some small countries generate. But here is where things get even more interesting. His fortune skyrocketed thanks to highly profitable government contracts. We are talking about growth from $1 billion to more than $19 billion. That is a serious jump. You might be thinking, fine, he is strong in business, but what about his personal life? Well, he definitely knows how to live large. Let's start with his car collection. His garage is a true exhibition of luxury. We are talking about Bugatti, Ferrari, and Rolls-Royce. But these are not just standard luxury cars. Hamdan owns some of the rarest models in existence, cars that even other millionaires envy. But cars are only the beginning. Hamdan has a mansion that is hard to even imagine. We are talking about a house with its own private helipad. Yes, you heard that right. He can literally get out of bed and be in a helicopter a few minutes later. The mansion also has a huge pool and gardens so large you could get lost in them. And if you thought Saeed was into watches, wait until you hear about Hamdan. His watch collection is so impressive it could make even a Swiss banker blush. We are talking about watches that cost more than most people's homes. But Hamdan is not only about expensive cars and luxury watches. When he is not closing billion-dollar deals, he likes to relax. And by relax, we do not mean lying on the couch. We mean cruising on his luxury yacht or competing in major equestrian events. Yes, exactly. Hamdan is seriously passionate about horses, and he does not just watch from the sidelines. He competes in some of the biggest equestrian events around the world. It is as if he lives in two worlds at once. In one, he is a tough business player. In the other, he is a professional athlete. Now you might be wondering where someone like this even started. Here is an interesting fact. He really did drop out of Harvard, but do not rush to think he is foolish. He showed business talent very early on when he founded Future Prowess Consultancy, a multi-million-dollar technology-focused investment firm. Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan is a member of Abu Dhabi's ruling family with a fortune of $500 million. Yes, a full $500 million. You might be thinking that he is just another rich kid living off family money, but that is not the case. He is involved in many different fields, especially technology. But before we get into that, let's talk about his toys. Sheikh Abdullah has a car collection that most millionaires would envy. We are talking about some of the rarest and most expensive cars on the planet. In his garage, there is a Bugatti Veyron, one of the fastest production cars in history. This car can reach more than 250 miles per hour and costs around $2 million. But even that is not his most expensive car. That title belongs to his Ferrari LaFerrari. Only 499 of these cars were produced, and each one costs more than $3 million. It is basically a race car that is legal to drive on public roads with nearly 1,000 horsepower. Imagine pulling up to a traffic light in a car like that. But cars are only the beginning. Sheikh Abdullah's home is practically a universe of its own. He owns a mansion in Emirates Hills, one of the most exclusive neighborhoods in Dubai. The place is incredible. We are talking about a home with its own private cinema. Yes, you heard that right. Sheikh Abdullah does not go to the movies. He brings the movie theater home. And as for the pool, do not even ask. This is not an ordinary backyard pool. It is more like a private water park. You might be thinking, fine, he has beautiful things, but what does he actually do? This is where it gets really interesting. Sheikh Abdullah is not just sitting around enjoying his wealth. He is involved in shaping the future of Dubai and the entire UAE. He is heavily involved in technology investments. He plays an important role in Mubadala Development Company, which is essentially one of the vehicles through which the UAE invests in the future. They put billions into advanced technologies, from artificial intelligence to renewable energy. And it is not just about making even more money. Sheikh Abdullah and his team are trying to turn the UAE into a global technology hub. They want it to become the next Silicon Valley, only with much more sand and far more luxurious cars. One of their main areas of focus is artificial intelligence. They invest in companies developing self-driving cars, smart cities, and even AI-powered medical systems. Imagine a city where your car drives itself, your home knows when you are coming back and turns on the air conditioning in advance, and doctors can diagnose illnesses before you even feel symptoms. That is exactly the kind of future he is trying to build. But it is not only about flashy technology. Sheikh Abdullah also invests in education and renewable energy. They are building some of the largest solar power plants in the world right in the desert and launching programs that train the next generation of tech geniuses in the UAE itself. That is a completely different level of thinking. Most rich kids simply enjoy their wealth, while Sheikh Abdullah is trying to change the world. He is not just spending money, he is investing in the future. And here's what is especially surprising. All these technology projects are only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what Sheikh Abdullah does. He is also involved in real estate, healthcare, and even aerospace. His portfolio is more diverse than most people's social circles. But do not think Sheikh Abdullah is all work. When he is not busy trying to turn Dubai into a science fiction utopia, you might see him behind the wheel of one of his supercars or relaxing in his private cinema. Sheikh Mohammed bin Hamad Al Thani. Sheikh Mohammed bin Hamad Al Thani's fortune is estimated at $8.4 billion. That is more than the gross domestic product of some small countries. He is not just another rich kid. He is the deputy chairman of the Qatar Investment Authority. In other words, the fund is Qatar's main financial powerhouse, with assets worth more than $450 billion. Now, you might be thinking, fine, he knows how to handle money, but what does he spend it on? Well, he certainly knows how to live in luxury. Let's start with his car collection. This is not the garage of an ordinary millionaire. Sheikh Mohammed Al Thani owns some of the rarest and most expensive cars on the planet. We are talking about limited edition supercars that most people only see in magazines. One of his favorite cars is the Koenigsegg Agera RS. Only 25 of these cars were made, and each one costs around $2.5 million. It is basically a rocket on wheels capable of reaching more than 270 miles per hour. Imagine pulling up to a traffic light in a car like that. But even that is not his most expensive car. Sheikh Mohammed Al Thani also owns a Bugatti La Voiture Noire. This is a one-of-a-kind car that cost $18.7 million. Yes, $18.7 million for a single car. With that kind of money, you could buy an entire fleet of Ferraris. And Sheikh Mohammed Al Thani does not just collect these cars, he regularly shows them off. He is a frequent guest at private car exhibitions around the world, the kind of events where the parking lot looks like a supercar showroom. But cars are only the beginning. Sheikh Mohammed Al Thani has a real estate portfolio that many tycoons would envy. He owns mansions in Doha and London, and we are not talking about ordinary luxury homes. His home in Doha is a true palace. It has more rooms than some hotels, a private cinema, and a pool bigger than most people's houses. As for the gardens, they could easily fit an entire golf course. His London residence is not exactly modest either. It is located in One Hyde Park, one of the most expensive residential buildings in the world. A single apartment there can cost more than $100 million, and Sheikh Mohammed Al Thani owns a penthouse. Now you might be thinking, fine, he has beautiful cars and luxury homes. What else? Well, let's talk about his watch collection. Sheikh Mohammed Al Thani owns watches worth more than most people's retirement savings. We are talking about brands like Patek Philippe and A-Lang and Sona. One of his favorite watches is the Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime. This watch is so complicated that it has 20 different functions and its price is $31 million. But here is what really matters about him. He does not collect all of this only to impress people. He genuinely appreciates craftsmanship. Whether it is cars, homes, or watches, he always looks for the very best. And he brings that same eye for quality into his main work. As deputy chairman of the Qatar Investment Authority, Sheikh Mohammed Al Thani is responsible for billions of dollars in investments. And he is not just throwing money around. He makes smart moves that affect the global economy. Under his leadership, QIA has invested in everything from luxury hotels to tech startups. It owns stakes in companies people use every day, including Volkswagen and Barclays. But Sheikh Mohammed Al Thani does not want to limit himself to simply making money. He also uses his wealth and influence to shape Qatar's future. QIA actively invests in education and healthcare, trying to build a knowledge-based economy that can survive long after the oil runs out. Zaid Al Thani. Zaid Al Thani is a key figure at Qatar Holding LLC, a company that invests Qatar's money around the world. But he does not just manage his country's funds. He also sits on the boards of major international corporations. British American Tobacco? He is involved there too. Deutsche Bank? He plays an important role there as well. Now let's talk about his toys. Zaid has the kind of car collection that more than one billionaire would envy. The crown jewel is a Bugatti Chiron. This car has 1,500 horsepower and can reach speeds of more than 260 miles per hour. The price? Around $3 million. But that is only the beginning. He also owns a Ferrari LaFerrari. Only 499 of these cars were produced. It is basically a race car approved for public roads, capable of going from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. When it first came out, it cost more than $1 million, and with such a limited number in the world, there is no doubt it is worth much more today. But Zaid is not only about fast cars. He also owns a Rolls-Royce Phantom. This car is like a luxury hotel room on wheels. Custom leather, real wood trim, and a fiber optic ceiling that looks like a starry sky. It is the kind of car that seems to say, I am not just rich, I am royalty. You might be thinking, fine, he has beautiful cars, but where does he even keep them? Let's talk about Zaid's home. He owns a mansion in Doha that looks more like a small resort. We are talking about multiple pools, a private cinema, and probably more bathrooms than your entire neighborhood combined. But here's the thing, Zaid does not have just one luxury home. He has real estate around the world. There is a penthouse in London overlooking the Thames. There is a coastal home in Malibu where he can watch the sun set over the Pacific Ocean. This man's property portfolio is probably worth more than entire small countries. When Zaid is not flying around the world on business or checking on his properties, he focuses on his other passion, watches. He has a collection that would make a Swiss banker jealous. We are talking about watches that cost more than most people's homes, and each one is a work of art you can wear on your wrist. But do not think Zaid is all work. As a child, he had a life most of us can only dream of. Polo lessons, private diving trips, and much more. For Zaid, that was just a normal Tuesday. Today, his social life is just as luxurious as everything else in his world. He is constantly seen at exclusive events, spending time with other billionaires and world leaders. Imagine parties where every guest's net worth is measured in billions. That is the world Zaid lives in. But there is something that sets Zaid apart from some other rich kids. He is not just spending his father's money, he is actively moving through the business world himself. He influences global finance from the boardrooms of some of the biggest companies on the planet. When Zaid speaks, billionaires listen. Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani. Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani is not just a wealthy man. He has enough money to buy a small country. His staggering fortune is $8 billion. But Sheikh Hamad is not the type to simply pile up wealth. He is trying to change the world. First, let's talk about his lifestyle because it is truly on another level. Sheikh Hamad has a car collection that more than one billionaire would envy. We are talking about Bugatti, Koenigsegg, and Pagani. These are not ordinary luxury cars. Each one costs millions, and there are probably only a few examples in the world. But cars are only the beginning. Sheikh Hamad has his own fleet of private jets. Yes, you heard that right. Not one jet, but an entire fleet. When this man travels, he does not stand in airport lines. His planes are bigger than some people's houses, with gold detailing and leather seats that cost more than most cars. And since we are talking about homes, Sheikh Hamad owns mansions all over the world. There is a palace in Doha that looks more like a small city. It has its own mosque, several pools, and probably more rooms than some hotels. But that is only his main base. He also has a home in London that takes up an entire city block and a mansion in Paris right on the Champs-Élysées. And that is before you even get to his real estate in the United States. His property portfolio is worth more than the gross domestic product of many countries. But this is where Sheikh Hamad's story becomes truly interesting. He is not just sitting on a massive fortune, and he is not only buying more toys. He uses his wealth to make a real difference in the world. Sheikh Hamad is deeply involved in education. He has established scholarships that help hundreds of students every year attend the best universities in the world. We are talking about Oxford, Harvard, and MIT, the kind of schools most people can only dream of. And he does not just pay tuition. These scholarships cover everything from books to living expenses. But he does not stop at education. He also invests millions in healthcare. He has built hospitals, funded research, and even created programs that bring people from developing countries to Qatar for life-saving treatment. One of his biggest projects is an ultra-modern orthopedic and sports medicine hospital in Doha. This place is so high-tech that it looks like something out of a science fiction movie. It has robots that assist during surgeries and rehabilitation equipment that seems to come from the future. And here is something else impressive. Sheikh Hamad is also working to bring some of the world's best medical schools to Qatar. He collaborates with institutions such as Weill Cornell Medicine to open branches in Doha. The goal is to train a new generation of doctors right in the Middle East. But Sheikh Hamad is not just throwing money at problems. He has an entire strategy for improving life in Qatar and beyond. He invests in renewable energy, works to make Qatar's economy less dependent on oil, and is helping turn Doha into a global center for education and healthcare. Now you might be thinking, sure, he is doing good things, but could someone with $8 billion do even more? Here's the point. Sheikh Hamad does not just sign checks. He is personally involved in these projects. He meets with world leaders, attends board meetings, and personally oversees some of the initiatives. And do not forget that this man is a member of a royal family. He has responsibilities that go far beyond simple wealth. He is involved in shaping Qatar's future, from foreign policy to economic strategy. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. We have already seen some serious fortunes, but Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum takes everything to a completely different level. He is not just rich. He is the vice president and prime minister of the UAE with a fortune of more than $14 billion. That is more money than some small countries have in their budgets. But Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid is not just enjoying his wealth. He is transforming both Dubai and the entire UAE. He is involved in everything from real estate to technology and infrastructure. When he makes a move, the whole world feels it. Let's talk about his real estate. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid owns palaces that make Buckingham Palace look like a starter home. His main residence, Zabil Palace, is like a small city. We are talking about hundreds of rooms, several pools, and probably more bathrooms than your entire neighborhood combined. But even that is nothing compared with his private islands. Yes, islands, plural. He has an entire collection of artificial islands off the coast of Dubai. Heard of Palm Jumeirah? That is his project. This island is shaped like a giant palm tree, and it can be seen from space. That is the kind of statement only a billionaire ruler can make. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid also has a place called Endurance Village. It is not just a home. It is an entire complex dedicated to his love of endurance horse racing. Imagine having so much money that you can build a whole village just for your hobby. Now you might be thinking, fine, he has beautiful things, but what does he actually do with all that money? This is where you should get ready. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid does not just spend money, he invests in the future. He pours billions into turning Dubai into a global technology hub. We are talking about smart cities, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and every kind of cutting-edge technology. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid wants Dubai to become the Silicon Valley of the Middle East, and he has the money to make it happen. But it is not only about technology. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid is also deeply focused on infrastructure. He is behind some of the boldest construction projects imaginable. The Burj Khalifa, that is his project. It is the tallest building in the world, and it is only the beginning. He is also building an entirely new city called Dubai Creek Harbor. The idea is to make even Manhattan look small by comparison. We are talking about some of the tallest twin towers in the world, a huge new airport, and housing for roughly 1 million people. And here is something else especially interesting. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid is not building only for people. He is also creating one of the largest artificial wildlife reserves in the world. It will be larger than some countries and will become home to thousands of animals. He thinks big in every possible direction. But what truly sets Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid apart is this. He does not just spend money on spectacular projects. He has a vision for the future of Dubai and the entire UAE. He wants to turn the country into a global center for business, tourism, and innovation. He has created free trade zones to attract international companies. He has invested in renewable energy to prepare the country for a future after oil. And he invests in education to build a skilled workforce. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid even has plans for the colonization of Mars. Yes, you heard that right. He wants the UAE to become the first Arab country to send people to the Red Planet. He is thinking not just beyond Dubai, but beyond Earth itself.